Well, hello. Welcome, everybody, to Startup in a Month. We're working on mail file today, day four. Um, yeah, let's see. I think I got some feedback from someone recently that when they watch my live streams, they're a little confused as to what is actually going on. And I think that makes sense because I've got like all the context in the world for what we're actually doing here, right? Like I know what's going on. I've been doing the streams, I've been writing the posts, but I think all along I've had the assumption that people have been like following along a little more consistently than maybe they have been, and it might be useful, at the beginning of the streams or just in general to kind of recap like what the project is and what we're working on. So anyway, if you're a new viewer, if you're an old viewer, let's kind of review what's going on here. So anyway, this is the live stream for Startup in a Month, and what this project is a attempt to spend all of 2021 building a startup. I mean, it's not like I'm building Facebook or anything. I'm building these small little MVPs, minimum viable products. And so, yeah, each month I'm going to build out kind of the core product for an MVP for a different startup idea. And the intended outcome of this is that I create something that ends up taking off. And if I have something that garners a lot of attention, gets a lot of users, I can kind of break off from building a startup every single month, build that one out, and hopefully turn it into something that can give me a uh, income. Establish some independent income for myself so I can do this for a job. So anyway, that is what Startup in a Month is. If you want to read more, you can head to my blog, which is startupinamonth.net. So something I also do is I post these like stream notes on the blog too. If you see me like make reference to something or leave a link here, you can go and check those out too. All the stream notes end up being uploaded to the blog after I do the stream. So how about I do this? What is all right? So there's that. Yes, that's the description of the project, and then this is what we're actually building. So we're building something called a mail file in these series of streams, and so this is an attempt to kind of solve my own problem. That's a piece of advice you see a lot when you're like building a product or when someone's saying like, okay, I want to build a product, I want to build an open source thing, and I want to have it be successful. So, what constitutes a good idea or a bad idea? And more often than not, a good idea is going to be the one where you're like solving your own problem that you have in your own life. Because if you're solving your own problem, then chances are that you are also solving somebody else's problem, and that kind of becomes the basis for whether a thing is like useful or not, whether it's like actually meeting a need for somebody. So, anyway, one of the things I find myself doing quite a lot, and a big problem that I have, is like saving things. So you've got apps like Trello, you've got apps like Evernote, or maybe like Notion nowadays. Various places that you like put information, and they're all like just a little bit hard to use, right? Like if you have something on your phone, for instance. Maybe it's like just an app form and you can't get it in like the internet if you're using it from your desktop, for instance. So if you save it on your phone, you can't get it on your laptop. Another issue is like being logged in. So say you're like logged in one device but not in another. That makes it hard to access things. There's just like all kinds of stuff that like centers around like platforms and like multi-platform things, and all that stuff is like it's kind of useful if you want to put the time and effort into it. But I feel like a lot of people don't want to put the time and effort into like getting a multi-platform setup like just perfect unless it's like answering a big need. So what a lot of people do, myself included, if they have a recipe they want to remember or a quote or a link, you email it to yourself. And so the great thing with emailing it to yourself is that everyone knows how email works. Everyone's got email. Everyone knows exactly how their email client functions. You don't need any training. You don't need to learn how to use a new thing. It's like just there. So if you want like a super quick and dirty way to save something and reference it for later, then emailing yourself is like a really great way to do that. But the problem is that, well, this is like really easy to do when you want to save something, when you want to like keep something. And by keep, I mean like reference it for later, or use it later, or look it up later. Anything where you've like got something that you've stored and you want to access it at a later date. Email is like a really bad way to do that because like you're getting a whole bunch of different emails from all kinds of people, newsletters, emails from friends and family, emails from work, and it all kind of goes into the same pile, and everything just kind of disappears after a while. It kind of sinks into the quicksand of your inbox, and eventually that thing you wanted to save is like totally disappeared. So, Mailfile is seeking to kind of change that by addressing that like organization problem. So instead of emailing yourself, what you do is you email Mailfile, and then Mailfile will look at the content of the email and like save it. We may end up like developing some smart things like, if it's a recipe, it might tag it as like a recipe. If it's a quote, it might tag it as a quote, something like that. And so that's kind of like answering the problem of organization. So you still get that like awesome user experience of like emailing yourself, which is like the easiest thing to do, but that's combined with a better, more refined way of like actually saving something, and those two together I think are going to solve my problem at least, and hopefully a lot of other people's problems. So that's what we're building. I'll put that here. What is Mailfile? Here. All right, cool. So that's who I am. That's what we're doing. That's what specifically I'm working on. Again, if you want to find out more information, just head to the blog, startupinamonth.net. And yeah, all that being said, let's get started. So typically for these streams, what I do is I start with a mantra, and my mantra today is why so serious? Yeah, if you've been following along with the past couple streams, I think I've gotten kind of like wrapped up in like, doing things by the book and being really like kind of stern with myself and making sure that like, I'm really consistent with my actions, consistent with my screaming schedule, good and responsible with the code I'm writing, and yeah, it just kind of sucks the fun out of things if you're being like too serious about them. So yeah, I'm trying to like kind of loosen up a little bit, get a little less stern and a little less anxious about like doing things the quote unquote right way. So yeah, mantra today will be just a little reminder to not take things so sternly because, sometimes it's what you need. Sometimes it's like absolutely what you need, but I think most times in this world it's a little bit detrimental. Alright, so I think I noticed that this is actually the wrong file name. Oop. 29th, 429, there we go. Alright, cool. So what are we actually doing today? Yeah, so in the stream yesterday, we did a whole bunch of AWS nonsense to receive an email and post it to our application's backend. And the whole idea there was like we're going to use Amazon SES to act as the email server essentially. And so it receives the email. We pipe it through a bunch of other Amazon nonsense. I think I've decided that I really don't like AWS. This is like my first experience using it, and it is insanely complicated. But anyway, in the morning I figured out how to kind of finish threading the needle between SES, S3, and Lambda. And now we can actually send those emails to our backend server. So that's great. I can get the email there, but it's like not looking quite right. I mean, if you look at like what I'm receiving from the backend, or from Lambda, I guess it's like JSON object, but it's somehow become like strings and it's no longer wrapped in JSON, so this is like pretty much impossible to parse. John of Patmos. Oh, hey, I remember you from from the first month of this project. Welcome back to the stream, man. I switched from AWS to GCP with my last job. But it feels much more straightforward somehow. Yeah, man, I mean, Google Cloud provider. I think that is. I've never used GCP before, but anyway, yeah, I think AWS kind of suffers from the same problem that like a lot of software just suffers from eventually if it like is around for long enough, and that's the fact that it just like accretes things. Like it kind of like builds up and builds up and builds up, and all of a sudden you've got this like huge hydra with like 60,000 heads on it that no one really fully understands, and then no one can cut back on the complexity and simplify it because like millions of people are depending on it. So yeah, I mean, if you look at like, geez, what was I doing today? It was the IAM stuff, IAM management console. So if you look here, this is like all for like permissions for your various like functions and modules and stuff. So if you look at just like, yeah, let's take Lambda for instance. Oh no, S3 was the one I was looking at. And you just go to the list of permissions for read. I mean, this is like the short list, right? What was this, 48 different descriptions. Specify access point resource ARN for the get access point policy. I mean, if I just want to like create something that lets Lambda read from S3, I'm not going to spend like 3 hours figuring out like what get bucket object lock configuration means. Location, object lock configuration of the Amazon S3 bucket, get bucket tagging, get object version for replication. I mean, this is all stuff that like solves some kind of problem for somebody, but it's like become so insanely complicated as to be like incomprehensible for like the average person who's like using this to solve like one of their like small problems. Abort multi-part upload, create access point for object lock, put access point configuration. I mean, you can't even read these. Yeah, what is that? Supported resource type. Anyway, I've ranted and raved too much about this, but you get the point. It's crazy complicated. The product designs are isolated from one another usually, so there's not a lot of consistency across pieces. Yeah, exactly. That too. And you got like 30 different teams building like 30 different services, and none of them are talking to each other. So anyway, I'm glad I don't work for AWS, because if that was my job to work with that forever, then that would be terrible. Anyway, so once we figure out our weird data stuff in AWS, we can get this into a proper JSON object, which we can send to our backend server. And then once we've got it there, we can parse the object. We can get the email data. Mainly I'm interested in the subject and the body. Once we've got the data, we can save the email in the database. And then our core feature for this app is like more or less like done, quote unquote. So huge asterisk there, obviously. We still need to build a front end. I haven't even built the front end for this thing yet. There's features like tagging and categorization, which we haven't really addressed just yet, but the simple act of like emailing mail file, kind of sending it through the Amazon AWS insanity, and then like getting it in our backend and saving it in the database, that'll be done. So that'll be really cool, and maybe we'll get that done today. So, all that being said, let's not dally. Let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so yeah, I think where I left off, at least this morning, I was trying to figure out this stuff. So the body is S3 get object with the bucket name and a message ID. So this will get me the body of the S3 object where the email is being saved. And then I'm taking that, which is a buffer, like a buffer array. I'm calling toString on it, and I'm JSON stringifying it. So I wonder, wonder if I should be doing that or if I should be like just sending the string in the post. I think that's the first thing we're going to try. So, you may recall from yesterday I couldn't even figure out how to log, like where to read my logs. Turns out there's an entirely separate service for reading a console log from a Lambda function, which is AWS CloudWatch. Useful for somebody, I'm sure. Very, very, very complicated for someone like me. Yeah, so how do I get my email over here? And then we can take a look at what we're doing here. Okay, so, right, demo, mfall.me, stream test, does this look any... Okay, before I send that, I'll make sure my code situation is good. Is my REPL running? It's not. Okay, cool. So backend's running, AWS running. Let's send an email. Let's watch it land, shall we? LT. Socket closed, huh? JSON error, unexpected character. Okay, so our email arrived. And I think we're trying to call a function on it that we shouldn't be calling anymore. Alright. So here's the request we just sent. It's a byte stream. So if we do a reader on the byte stream, what do we get? We get a buffered reader. I don't really know what to do with that. Buffered reader closure. Okay. So I think a closure reader is what I need to read a byte array, which is what comes back. HTTP kit. Although I wonder what I'm actually sending from the Lambda side of things. Alright, so let's deploy that. Let's send yet another email. Which JSON library am I using? I'm using closure data JSON and also wrap JSON response and wrap JSON body. And I think I'm using it right, but I think if I was using it correctly, I would be getting like JSON in the body and not this bytes input stream thing. So I've got wrap JSON response and I've got wrap JSON body in my app. And as far as I understand it, that's what I need to do to actually like parse JSON in a body of a request into actual JSON, but yeah, for some reason that's not what I'm actually getting. So it'd probably behoove me to solve that problem first, but I was getting a little impatient with it and just kind of like barged ahead with using the Java reader module. Okay, so what is the email object? Okay, so have to store the email in S3. Definitely know that. And when you store it in S3, you have to read the object. You give it a bucket name and the message ID of the email that you just got. And then what you can do is you can get the body. So body to string. I wonder if the body is an object already. I've lost so many hours wrangling middleware parsing. Yeah, it's a powerful model, but yeah, the second something goes wrong with that kind of thing, it gets kind of complicated to work with, doesn't it? So I'm parsing something to a string. What has a toString method in JavaScript? ToString. Object to string. Number to string. Okay, so that may be why at the end of the day I'm getting stuff that looks like this. So when I parse this correctly, I'm essentially getting an object that's like not wrapped in an object. So you can see like return path is the key, this is the value, received is the key, this is the value. So my life is going to get a lot simpler if I can send it as an object and not as like some crazy string. So how about we take a look at what this is before we call toString on it. Email object body before toString. Alright, let's save that, deploy that. Send the email one more time. Okay, then we go to CloudWatch to watch for the console log. Alright, let's load some log streams. 1443 hasn't showed up yet. 1447, yes. Okay. Email object body before toString, so it's a buffer. Okay. Yeah, we know it's a buffer of an object, probably. Buffer toString, JavaScript. ToString. Oh, buffer to JSON? That works. Returns erase JSON representation of the buffer. JSON stringify implicitly calls this function when stringifying a buffer instance. Buffer.from accepts objects in the format returned from this method. So maybe toString is not what I want. Maybe toJSON is what I want. Let's see. .toJSON takes no arguments. Make sure we get that right because it takes a minute or two to actually run and test this thing. So it's good to not waste time. Don't waste time on syntax errors. Or writing silly email messages, really. But keeps my brain engaged. I could probably just be sending empty emails to this thing and it would be just as well. But it's kind of fun to think of something a little bit creative off the fly anyway. 1449, there it is. 2 JSON. Ow. Type buffer data. Come on, son. That's not what I wanted. So, toString, probably what we want. Buffer.values, buffer.writes. Concat from is buffer is encoding pool size. Compare copy entry equals. Just go to the first match, please. Alright, 2 JSON, toString are the main things we're trying to work with here. Buffer.toString for JSON. Buffer.toString loses curly braces node, maybe. Okay, 2 JSON is not what we want. So let's try changing it back to toString. Body.toString, the UTF 8 encoding. Save, deploy. Demo, hi, hello. All right. 253. That's the number to beat. There we go. Return path. Received, pass. You know, I wonder if I'm just getting it like how it actually is to put it in probably confusing terms. Like maybe this was never an object in the first place. Open. Ah, yeah, okay. So it's something that looks like an object, but it is not. It's just like a plain text, like email file. Okay. So yeah. There's hello, there's the subject. And I wonder if there's a way that we could get this into a nicer format somehow. Like, is there something that can like read this and automatically turn it into an object, for instance? So that would make it a lot easier to work with, because then I could do things like if this was a key in an object, for instance, I could access it like as a key, as opposed to like having to search through this string for a key called content type, and then getting rid of this first new line, and then finally finding the like actual content itself. So yeah, there's the code for my email address. It's kind of interesting. What format is in SES email message? Ooh, the Internet Message Format Specification. RFC 5322. Turn into a when a client makes a request to Amazon SES, constructs an email message compliant with the Internet Message Format Specification. The email consists of a header, a body, and an envelope as described below. Receive from to dates, subject, message. Is that using my... Man, I hope that's just static text. That's pretty crazy if they figured out my name is Andrew. Okay, so that mostly looks like what I'm looking at, right? And there's some extra stuff in here, but all the important pieces are there. Okay, so we know the name of the spec that this is supposed to conform to. Whoa. There's some ancient internet stuff we just opened. That's cool. That's super neat. When you discover one of these pages on the internet that you've struck bedrock, so to speak. Cool. Yeah, I'll put that in the links. What is this? The RC 5322. 5322 email message spec. We've struck internet bedrock. There we go. Okay, now it would be really sweet if I had a library for working with this. Ooh, perfect. Top results. The parser for the internet message formats. Extremely limited documentation. Demo lights. Doc. Intro. To do. Write great documentation. Last commit 4 years ago. Parse email closure. Closure mail. I think that's a Kill Bill reference, right? Hattori Hanzo. Nope. Different guy. So this is an API for interacting with like an email service. Reading email message. Yep, that's exactly what I want. Alright, there's some extra stuff I don't want, and there's some stuff I do want. So how about we start here. Alright, over to deps.eden. Yeah, actually, John, if I've got you here, I was thinking about ways to dynamically load dependencies, because I know this is something you can do in Clojure. Because like what I'm about to do is I'm about to add this dependency, and I'm going to like stop and restart my server. But I know it's possible to actually like add something to your dependencies without having to restart the server. So if you've got like a blog or like a YouTube video or something that can show me how to do that, that could be really useful. And if you don't, that's okay too, but I figured I would ask since I think you know a lot more about this language than I do. Okay. Back to the docs. I don't know offhand, but I can go looking. Alright, well, if you feel like doing it. Always good to ask. Don't put too much work in. Read message. Closure mail message. Okay, there's the one we want. Maxing out my REPL skills was something I never got around to. Yeah, it's a lot to learn. It's a lot to get used to. That is a great skill. Some people you watch them and you're like, how did you do that? Really nice to watch a professional who knows what they're doing. Okay. Closure mail core, don't think I need that. I do need read message. Alright. So instead of trying to parse the JSON, I should read the message. So let's go to... Oh, you know what? Maybe that's why I'm having so many JSON problems. Is because I don't... This is not actually JSON that I'm working with. Makes a lot of sense, right? Let's reconnect to the REPL. Let's send another email, eh? Compose, demo. Hello, goodbye. think it's just going to throw this same error, but we will have the request saved in this temp request object. Okay. So the body of the temp rec, send it through the reader to transform the byte stream into something we can understand. Oop. And then once we're there, call read mail on whatever that spits out. Read message, excuse me. Read message. Unable to resolve symbol, eh? Let's get these in the REPL. Read message. Oh, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Buffered reader. Okay. Java IO buffered reader. Java IO buffered reader. I don't really know what a reader is. I don't know what a buffer is, which I think is causing me problems right now. So let's take one more look at what I'm actually sending. Because I thought I was sending a string in the body, but it's arriving as a buffer. Okay. 304, that's the most recent one I sent. Back to Lambda. Email object with .toString. So body.toString. What do you look like? ToString. You end up as a string. Okay. I wonder if I should wrap that string into a JSON object before I send it. Probably. JSON.stringify. That may be part of my problem. Email. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up in an object. String will be the value, email will be the key, and that's what we send. So let's try that just one more time. What will it be now? Okay. Get Cloud Launch back to the front page. And let's wait for it to arrive. $15.08. Okay. An error. Save email. Byte input stream. Length 4015. Alright. So what happens if we try to read this? Buffered reader. Oh, wait. No, not right. JSON read. I don't think your issue is in AWS. Looked like it was cast in the back end, like it was a cast of the back end that didn't work. Yeah, I think that's correct. So what I get, this is like the post route, right? Like I'm posting this to save email and I'm calling this function, and this is what the request looks like. So here's some re-edit stuff, and then here's some headers, and then this is what I'm actually getting in the body. So yeah, maybe I want to work with bytes input stream. Input stream. It's not very helpful, buddy, but it's consumable. It'll return that into a hash map for you. Ring defaults. I have that commented out right now. That's probably what I'm experiencing, right? Wrap defaults, site defaults. So restart the server with the new stuff. And now I think we should be seeing something different. Oh, I didn't see that wasn't John Mac L 72 172. Welcome to the stream, man. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Glad to have you here. 1504. Looking for 1511. I have, but it's been a while. Okay. Sorry, man. Thanks for rejoining us. Been a bit inconsistent in my streaming schedule, but I'm getting back into it. What is this month's startup? Yeah, while we're waiting for this email to arrive, how about I send a link? Mail file. This is essentially a little app for making the process of like emailing yourself a little nicer. So the idea is that like, emailing yourself is like the ultimate UX for like saving something like quickly and easily, but it's pretty much the worst way to like actually hang on to something. Did I not send that? Am I getting blocked for spam? Nope. Are my emails getting blocked? So anyway, instead of emailing yourself, what you do is you email mail file, and it'll parse the email and look for like new line separated things like links or quotes or like recipes or anything that you might like email to yourself, and then it'll store it in a database and make it like tagged and referenceable. Just make it easier to like find and search for and all that good stuff. So it's not like gonna land on your inbox and then like disappear into the rest of your life. It'll like go to a designated place where it's set up to organize those kinds of things. And we're working on the primary functionality right now, which is just emailing yourself. But I wonder if I've sent one too many emails. They're getting blocked now. 1312, yep, that was the last one. Okay, so it arrived in S3. Did Lambda go off? Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's definitely intended to be a simple solution. simple solution to a kind of tough problem, which is just like getting a handle on like all the stuff in your life, you know? Let's see. Return path. Is it working now? That was not the last email I sent. Or was it? Maybe that was the first email I sent. 1513. That's a newer one. Let's open this object. Okay, that's the right email address. Blocked. Okay, so it did arrive in S3, which means it didn't get blocked. I'm still not seeing anything in CloudWatch. Should have definitely been like logging something. So I've got these console logs which have been going off. Deploy, changes deployed. So, don't really know what to do except for try it again and hope it works. There we go. Makes me a little nervous that those other ones disappeared on me, but such is the internet. Okay, so we didn't get an error, but hopefully we do have a new request in here. Alright, Temporec, what are you? Still a byte stream. Still a byte input stream. But if I call IO reader on you, do you look any different? Okay, back to that thread. Wherever that was. Middleware will turn that into a hash map for you. I see, it's exactly what I want. That's what I want to. Alright, HTTP kits. There's some other middleware I need, maybe. Content type, sure. Site defaults. Hidden parameters, multi-part, no. Resources. Let's try it one more time. Just one more time. Let's try it one more time. The library using for my app router, read it. Yes. I was using Composure for my last app, but yeah, I like read it for the front end, for like a reagent front end, and I was figuring that if I use read it on both the back end and the front end, then I can kind of save myself some confusing like back and forth in terms of like, I've got one routing library on my server, one routing library on my client. That was the theory anyway. We'll see how it pans out, or if I should have just stuck with Composure this whole time and, stayed consistent with what I know. But I do like that Reated is like really terse. There's like not very much code there. Okay, let's do the strange song and dance. 15, 16 might have been it. Two string. Don't think that was the most recent one I sent, is it? Let's try it. Oh, okay. Reedit ring, middleware, Muntaja, and Reedit middleware parameters and namespaces I use for middlewares in my little side project, but I can't remember if I needed it for byte strings or not. I think most of my issues were query params. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's an angle I hadn't considered. That the middleware for Reedit is going to be different than the middleware for Composure. Good point. 15, 16. Man, that might get a little nervous about these emails, man. They're not showing up. Why aren't all of my emails showing up? Should be 15:21. Last event time we're looking for. See all my tests I've done. Oh, not good, man. Definitely showing up in S3 though, isn't it? Yeah, 15:21. There it is. Yeah, save to S3. Write to S3, post to mail file backend. That one goes first, this one goes second. So why is Lambda not going off? Well, let that problem sit. Read it. Middleware ring closure. Ring handler. Yeah, ring handler, ring router. Request method based routing. Middleware. Middleware can be mounted using a middleware key. Oh, it's possible I'm not not using the middleware in the right place. Ring example. Here we go. Server CLJ. Let's see. There's that one you were talking about, John. Muntaja. We do have some normal ring middleware though. Ring router. Okay. Data. Muntaja M instance. What is this? Closure library for fast HTTP format negotiation, encoding and decoding. Standalone library, but ships with adapters for ring and pedestal style interceptors. Okay. Let's see. The call to Muntaja format middleware might be what you want, or the one of the coercion ones. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Coercion. Read it, ring coercion. Yeah. Let's just check out one more example here, but I think that's definitely the direction we're going to have to go here. No, there's only one basic ring example, isn't there? So maybe what I need to do is just copy all this. All right. Well, there's a vote for sticking with what you know. As this whole time I thought I was going to do, this normal like wrap params, wrap JSON response, wrap body stuff that I was doing with Composure. It turns out I needed a whole new library. Okay. Params, ring middleware params, Montaja. But they're using Jetty directly. They're not using HTTP kit. Ring adapter Jetty as Jetty. I guess I'm not married to HTTP kit, am I? Server. Org HTTP kit server as server. Let's see. Have I tried just slurping the body and then using JSON parse string? I don't think you need all that. Slurping the body and using JSON parse string. I did try using IO reader on the body, so this is the most recent request I got. Here's the body of that request, which is a byte stream. Okay, so we want to slurp that. Empty string, huh? UTF-8. Slurp a byte stream gives you an empty string. And there's definitely stuff in there, right? I need parse string. Oh god. JSON. Was that try slurping the IO reader? Oh, okay. Slurp the IO reader. Count that out for now. Okay, so instead of JSON read string, I'm going to slurp what I get from the IO reader. Still an empty string. Buffered reader. Slurp a buffered reader closure. You sure there's anything in there? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's a byte input stream with a length of 4015, so I think that's indicative that there's something in there. And I have been able to read like something out of this. Like there have been times where I've actually been able to get the body of the email, although I'm not sure it's going to be in my REPL history here. Yeah, it doesn't look like, but anyway. Slurp IO reader. Kind of into the idea of a bunch of software someone else wrote doing this for me, so maybe I need to stop a little bit early today too, so I think I'm gonna install this montage coercion stuff and give it one more shot. And then unfortunately, I do need to end the stream a little bit early for prior commitment I have at 4. So let's try that, and then if not, okay, new window. Close jars. Alright, more dependencies. Okay, montage, we also need read it ring coercion. I think I probably already have that, right? And I've already got this, so that's one new thing to install. Yeah, I really appreciate your help there, guys. Just having people there who can suggest things when I'm like fresh out of ideas. That's a really nice thing to have when you're working on your own. Let's check out CloudWatch one more time. Quite disconcerting that my Lambda function is not going off because I have no idea why. This much aim space M, right. So then we need to require them. I think I need that Jetty server too, don't I? Okay, the core, to the core, to the core. Maybe ring adapter Jetty, ring dot adapter Jetty comes along with everything. Okay. So first thing to do, switch out HTTPK with Jetty. Actually, let's keep stop server. Let's copy this. Let's comment that out in case I want to go back to HTTPKit eventually. Reset server with this function call instead of that function call. It's still called app. Wrong port. Okay, step 1 is done. Step 2. Get our missing requires into our depths. Okay. So we got params, we got montage, we have coercion. Save. Start it up again. Well, it's a rainy day in central New York, as it usually is. It's very green up here, and it's green for a reason, because there's a lot of water. As a guy who grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, it was pretty strange when I showed up here for college. It's very dark and very wet all the time. Oh, but app is going to be different too, isn't it? Okay, so I need need to redefine my app to be this thing that Reedit gave me. Okay. Router. Just copy this in real quick. We got router, we got ring handler, we got router, we got our routes, and we got this data thing. And we got create default handler. Okay. So let's save, but instead of passing app to the router, we need to pass router to the router. Alright. Server cannot be cast to a function. And that may be due to the fact that I could do that trick with HTTP kit, but not with Jetty. Address already in use. Okay, so I guess that means it started once, but then I couldn't reset the server, so should be currently running. If I go to localhost 7070, I get something, which is not quite a web page. Okay, what are we trying to do here? We got the REPL running, and now we're trying to send an email. So let's do that one more time. Hello, will you work? I think not, but maybe. Okay. This will be the last thing we try, and then I'm signing off for the day. 15. Oh, hello. There's all our old emails. So I guess it didn't show up in the log stream, even though the email technically sent correctly. 1536. There's one we just sent. Did it log anything? It didn't. Did it show up? Unbound. Well, stop and start one more time. I lied. One more try, one more time. Jetty, run Jetty, using that router on this port. Oh, hello. Oh, hey, look at that. That's exactly what I needed. Oh, hey, is even the last email I sent will work? I think not, but maybe. How ironic. Okay, wow, man, that's cool. I think I'm also writing it to the disk, which means I should have it here. And I do. Oh, hey. Formats. JSON language. Yeah, thanks. That's what I wanted. Cool, guys. So this is in a format I can actually work with. It's still a string, though. Oh, right, that's it. So I need to work with this, with that, like, read message. Yeah, man, I can't help myself. I'm just going to read this file real quick, run it through read message, and then I'm done. Okay. Slurp email.json. Can I do this real quick? Okay, and then we JSON read string on that, right? Okay, then we get email from that, right? Yep. And then we call that function read message. Oh, what a buzzkill. String cannot be cast to an internet message. Okay, well, we did make some huge progress in that I'm getting the message in string form, and I think this library is what I want, because that's going to take this like crazy all string internet email message format and turn it into like a map I can work with. So anyway, next time we're gonna do that. And unfortunately, I really do have to go. But anyway, let's check off what we got done. How to let's see. We found a library to parse RFC 5322 messages into closure maps. Debugged our post body woes. Turns out Reedit uses a totally different middleware scheme than big point in the favor of sticking with what you know when it comes to your tools. Little sweat. Yeah. Almost got to the point of grabbing subject and body of the email for storage in DB. Alright, cool. So, somewhat shorter stream, but we did make a lot of good progress, debugged a few things, and yeah, got further along towards our goal, and really that's all we need to do. So, anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. Typically, I'm not streaming on Fridays because Friday is like a kind of like a social media day for me and like a writing day for me. But I'm thinking that tomorrow I might like put the stream on and just like kind of have it running. And I'm going to be actually composing some blog posts tomorrow. Mostly with lessons that I have learned from releasing my first product, which if you haven't seen the stream for a while, is Pick Story. Put a little link in there in case you want to check it out. Yeah, thought I would like kind of make some meditations on like what it was like to build this and release it and the things I learned. So anyway, it'll be a slightly less interactive stream since I want to focus on actually writing. But if you're interested to see that, like, I don't know, I might put on some music and might be kind of interesting to see my composition process. Not exactly sure, but anyway, that's what we're doing tomorrow, and yeah, catch you then. Thanks for joining me, everybody.